Welcome back for BeamNG Drive. If you missed my voice, probably not. Anyway, this video is about Neo's drag racing cars. To keep things interesting, I have set up a speed bump on the highway. So stay tuned and enjoy the video until the end if you make it that far. Of course, the video is narrated by an AI because I'm a genius. Ha ha ha.
Here we are on the US West Coast Autobahn, and we've already chosen the drag version of the Autobello for you. So I'll put the sarcasm aside. This version was created by Mio, the modder himself. We all like to hear that when modders let us use their creations. Dude, it just says sweetheart, I wouldn't have thought of him. Just kidding. Let's take a look at the rear. The small backpack contains a parachute, which we can only use with the paid mod. It's a shame, but you can't have everything for free. By the way, you can configure your own drag version vehicles with this mod. So, only the specific ones in the list. That concludes the mod, and I'll now explain the mission of the speed bump. Or the challenge, if you want it to be clearer. I'll drive every drag race version of a modder over this speed bump at full speed. I know the experiment is a bit straightforward this time. But the twist is, we can adjust the parameters of this speed bump however we want. Isn't that great? We'll just increase the height. The initial value is 50%, and with each pass we'll increase it by 30%. Did you get it? Of course you got it. Of course, it becomes increasingly ugly for the vehicles as the altitude increases. The maximum value is 400%, and you shouldn't mess with that. Otherwise, destruction and ruin will result. The storytelling round is officially over and we come to the practical part, namely destruction. Then we teleport back to our vehicle, otherwise it will get too dusty. Now I've explained everything to you, we can finally get started. Hold on tight and enjoy the show. Nice, that's a good start, but this is a complete embarrassment. I really need to study BeamNG to be the best. Anyway, luckily there's a reset button, otherwise it would be a disaster. It would be awesome if something like that existed in real life, so you could try everything. The candidate will have it easy, as the speed bump is only 50%. It'll be more of a leisurely stroll, but I'm still prepared for what's going to happen. We're already traveling at 200 miles per hour, and I don't think we've reached its top limit. It keeps going uphill, wonderful. That's quite a speed. Let's see if the speed bump will do anything. Yep, we blew out the left tire. We lost the blonde tire at the road barrier and are now a tricycle that can continue unhindered. I could brake now, but I don't. That's enough, we've been dragging ourselves along the tunnel wall for too long. We can stand on our own 2 feet again, or rather, on wheels. The damage wasn't that severe, so on to the next vehicle. I'll go through the items in order, taking them one at a time, based on what's next on the vehicle list. So, calmly and systematically. Our next victim is the Bastion, which arrives in a poisonous green paint job. Not bad, my friends of reason. Then we do our launch control, without which it wouldn't be a drag race moment. Okay, I just made that up. And I forgot to increase the speed bump height by 80%. My mistake, I just wanted to drive. This is all because of the new brain I bought on eBay. You know, brainwashing in brain greenhouses. That's how it is. Anyway, that probably won't cause much damage. Well, that's what we're here for. So, let's try again, and this time we'll be on the safe side. Otherwise, I'll bribe my cat to get this done. The look radiates beauty and speed at the same time. There's no doubt about that. The modder really has good taste. It's impressive. But you shouldn't drive into the wall at high speeds, like you just did. That can easily mess things up. Houston, we have a problem. 4 of our tires have blown out. Furthermore, we can no longer keep the vehicle on the track. It wasn't that bad, just a few dents, and this time all 4 tires burst. We can do better. But let's take a look at the car first. Yes, it could still be repaired and reused. Whatever the case, it's time to choose a different vehicle. Next on the list is the Bastion Legrand. It's just what we need. I'm excited to see what kind of drag configuration the Mio has provided us with. This time we have 2 versions we can use. Cool! Let's try that one out. I can drink a Capri Sun to that. So we're increasing the speed bump to 110%, which I call a number. It's getting progressively more brutal, I can already tell. Of course, we do all this to figure out when to stop a car if it's going too fast. Not to satisfy our desire for destruction. Back to the test object. People are getting impatient, I can already smell it from here. My nose can detect anything from 100,000 kilometers away with the ultimate tracking ability. Let's put the nose issue aside and get to the car. The rims are truly stunning, real eye catchers. I have to say, the paint design isn't that bad. It has something to it and doesn't have to hide. On the other hand, the top speed isn't that impressive, reaching only 128 miles per hour. For such an old car, it's impressive and sufficient. It is also remarkable that the engine does not break down. We are at the limit the whole time. At this speed, it takes even longer than the previous candidates. Perhaps the destruction will be more brutal and unforgettable. Cough cough, that was a complete disaster, not even a scratch, let alone blown tires. I think the speed played a role. Well, that's just how it is. We'll just go ahead and increase the height of the speed bump. The new height value will increase to 140% because 110% plus 30% equals 140%. Yay! I can do math! I hope the percentage will do some damage to the same vehicle. Otherwise, I'll be very disappointed. I won't delete the test objects until my computer has been idle for a while, then I'll make a few disappear. So my laptop doesn't take off. We're still driving, even though I've already cut it. That's really scary. Wow, I can't believe it. The car drove over the speed bump without any damage. We'll have to see that again. Since it wasn't that brutal, I had to do it myself. So my theory was correct, speed is a big factor in dealing more damage with a speed bump. Then let's try the other version. So we're back in the vehicle list and selecting the other version. I suspect this version won't be superior. I think so. This time I'm not increasing the height of the speed bump, so let's make a small exception. Don't forget, the nitro injection must always be active. Even if this car can only go up to 128 miles per hour. I'm always so forgetful, I've gotten so old. In my opinion, this body style is fine, you can embrace it. And be happy with it, too. As we can see, the maximum speed is only 128 miles per hour, just like the previous car. I could really cry, that's too low. Not much longer, my wonderful gamer girls and gamer boys. We're about to reach uncomfortable destruction and unpredictability. Man, that vehicle showed us some serious skating skills, something we don't see every day. Awesome and talented. Anyway, the damage wasn't that severe, but it was still interesting to see. Then we fly back to the starting point and choose a new vehicle. The next candidate is the Moonhawk, so we'll adjust the altitude to deal more damage. That's what we're here for, and of course, it's my job. We're increasing the speed bump height to 170%, allowing the entrance to destruction to come closer to us, thus causing more damage. Yes, our little baby has gotten a little bigger and is growing really fast. Then I think we can begin and embark on an unrestrained journey into corruption. That sounds fantastic, doesn't it, my viewers? This gives me a sense of relief. The Moonhawk drag version is much faster and feels like one, too. So we can breathe a sigh of relief. Oh yeah, we're now cruising down the highway at 189 miles per hour and not thinking anything of it. Now that's what I call one extraordinary vehicle. So buckle up, my viewers of the night world, and see the power of the speed bump right away. We just jumped over it, hoping it wouldn't hurt. Now that's what I call incredible suspension. We'll take another look at that.
Holy shit.
We've finally brought some more damage to life. It was about time, my sweet boys and girls. It's pretty obvious, the left side has been dented quite a bit. Luckily, the drag versions have this roll cage, otherwise it would have been even more brutal. Alright folks, we've now reached the 200% mark, which means we're halfway there. It just keeps getting better and more intense. Super duper, that's what we want. I'm excited to see what happens. My laptop isn't lagging yet, so everything's still fine. This means we can keep the car bodies and be very happy. The next candidate we're looking at here is the Bruckle 9 drag version by Mio. Let's take a look at this excellent masterpiece from the modder and see how it handles the speed bump. I have to say, the deep black color is really awesome. It suits the car. Luckily, it's also very fast and not that slow. This brings us to our top speed, which is 233 miles per hour. The speed bump just took the front wheels with it. And then we drove into the back of the skater boy at top speed. We like that, vehicles that melt together. Almost nothing is left of the Bruckle 9. I think 80% of the vehicle was swallowed up. For the first time, we've been treated to a police drag race version of Burnside Special with the mod. I'm having flashbacks to Doc Hudson again. It has incredible acceleration, even with nitro injection. If you have that feature, why not use it? We zip around in our Draggy and think nothing of it. Until something bad happens. And I mean that seriously. However, controlling these vehicles is relatively simple and effortless. Oh yes, that was a big impact. It just keeps getting better and worse for the cars. Holy cow, I don't mean to say anything rude, but that's one too many. I'm sorry, I have to censor it. That's much better, otherwise I would have been attacked by YouTube. No offense to you, YouTube, but I know the rules. Then let's move on, otherwise I won't be using my name. Even if it's an artificial name. We've now entered the somewhat modern era. The Charrier is taking his first step and will be looking forward to a great flight. The reason I was shaking the camera so much is because of the FPS drops. At that moment, my graphics card reached its limit and the recording was really lagging. That's why we're deleting a vehicle. Our speed bump height is now at 260%, and I honestly can't believe we've gotten this far. Get ready for more airtime, that's really what we're expecting. Or rather, I am, to be exact. So, my cool BeamNG fans of the night, I know you love these kinds of vehicles. Fast, aerodynamic, and grippy. Let's take a look at the car from the side. Wonderful, simply sporty. The interior looks like it was taken from a standard Charrier. We're already in 7th gear and speeding along the Autobahn at 197 miles per hour. Damn, we're not on a German Autobahn, so the speed limit isn't unlimited. Phew, that really hurt, hitting the bridge with the rear end. That's what I call top-notch, topped off with icing on the cake. Are we about to experience the scenario where I have to censor it again? I don't feel like doing that because I want to show you everything. That was a close call. At first, I thought it was time to get uncomfortable again. So I can breathe a sigh of relief and look at the screen. So let's move on, we're under time pressure. I skipped the settings, we now have a speed bump of 290%. I also used the scintilla. Yes, I know this isn't Mio's version, but that's an exception. We're already at the speed limit, and I'm celebrating.
A great
You
time.
don't see something like this every day, my cool girls and guys. Our tail has said goodbye to us, and we're split in two. Nice, I see things like that often, but not every day. The car wants to become a ballerina and is already practicing spinning around its own axis. The only problem is that the other half of the car is missing, but that's okay. The question I'm asking myself is, where did the tail end go? Let me explore the area before the destruction continues. Maybe we'll find the tail end somewhere. Where could something like that have flown? Somewhere on the side of the road or more likely on the hill. The rear end was mysteriously swallowed. Well, let's move on, otherwise we'll be stuck here for too long. Let's move on to the ETK1 series, which also wants to feel it. Flying is free, of course, but we don't guarantee the damage you'll experience. First, increase the height of the speed bump. Previously, it was 290%, now the new height is 320%. That's crazy, isn't it? We don't see that often. The amount of time I spent thinking about it shows that I'm not very good at mental math. Anyway, we reached the 300 mark, and that's awesome. Oh crap, that's awful. You shouldn't mess with that height. And I'm not just joking. So always be careful with speed bumps like that. Come on, we can't let this go any longer, or my laptop will give up the ghost. It's already 3 years old, making it a bit of a legacy piece of technology. Or how do you see it? Have you had your PC for a while and already become a sensei? I have to say, it's pretty awesome. Even though it's an older model from the ETK series. I think it's absolutely awesome. It will be a brief moment, but this moment will also be his last. The airline of destruction is already ready for this moment. Just jumping over the bridge, that's why I call a big, nice moment. Intense, right? My audience? I have to say, that was a 10 to 10 jump, even if it wasn't intentional. This kind of thing should happen more often. So I recommend using this speed bump, it's actually quite fun. And by the way, we haven't reached the maximum yet. So be prepared for the ultimate. Guys, we're almost there, you'll just have to be patient. I can already see the damage wasn't that severe, but it's no longer drivable and we'll have to get a new one. The next contender is the ETK drag version, which is truly breathtaking. I love coupe versions of cars because they're light and fast. It depends on the engine, of course. This is the first drag car with 8 gears, that's what I meant. Like in Fast and Furious, fast, faster, and fastest. Somehow, this one is a bit harder to control, probably because of the weight. But I can definitely control a beast like this, and it obeys me. Well, let alone controlling it, now it's flying over the road, so we don't have to do anything. Unfortunately, we don't have wings or rudder on the tail. With that, we've rendered the expensive sports car obsolete, and our destructive synapses are delighted. Now that's what I call excellent work. Well, I have to say, that was the longest jump of all without skidding on the asphalt. Just like the other first guinea pigs. They had it very easy. Let's take a closer look at the damage. Yes, that's quite remarkable. Someone would still survive. The credit goes to the roll cage. We come to the second to last vehicle on Mio's list, and its name is Mio's Pro Drag. Great, we've made it this far. I wouldn't have thought so. Of all the vehicles so far, this one is the most intense looking drag version. Simply bombastic and beautiful. I'm excited to drive the vehicle, but first we need to change the height of the speed bump. With so many car corpses, however, we're almost at the maximum height. The near maximum is 380%, and you'll see that in a moment. Nope, I didn't want that, that's not what I wanted. I want the 380%, not the 400%. Oh shit, if that hits your car, you'll be history, not in a book, but in real life. This shouldn't happen in real life, the speeders wouldn't like it. Then we'll start the penultimate lap and see what the outcome will be. But for now, the vehicle can enjoy its life and observe its surroundings. The modder really did a good job here, the look is simply fascinating and cool. I like the 3 throttle bodies on the open hood. It gives a feeling of strength and power. That's what excites us all. Or maybe just me. Who knows? So I was right, we couldn't achieve full power, but we did jump over the bridge. Wow, that's pretty awesome and intense. The asphalt tastes delicious, it is also called the American road with yellow stripes. The street light protected us from the rollovers and other damage, even though the damage was already immense and irreparable. Oh, the engine still works, I just found out from the speedometer. I have to say, the engine is robust and durable. Yes, it still looks in very good shape. We can use it again. Suddenly it died, but it's not a robust motor, so it's scrap. So, my viewers, we've reached the last vehicle, the EK 800 drag version from Mio. The paint job is a mix of green and yellow. We've reached the maximum level. This 400% will make any car bleed. I can promise you that with all my heart. Are you ready for the ultimate ending? Open your eyes and see for yourself. It's not for the faint of heart, and it's definitely not for women. Nah, anyone can watch it. The interior is very enticing and striking. That's exactly how it should be, simple and modern. We're getting closer and closer to the bitter end. This vehicle will feel the horror itself. I hope he'll jump over the bridge too, so we can look forward to it. Otherwise, I'll uninstall the game. Guys, we're almost there. You'll just have to be patient. I can already see the speed bump in the distance. Shit, we've really hit it. We're flying several meters above the ground. So we've reached our destination. We even jumped way over the bridge. And the journey continues. Do you think we'll reach or surpass the other ETK? We'll see that with our own eyes soon. Almost. It wasn't enough to slide all the way to the other ETK. Let's take a look at the damage. That's a must with a jump like that. It doesn't look that bad. It's just external damage, which can be repaired. It would just have cost a lot, but everyone knows that money grows in trees. I will now show you the destroyed vehicles with music. That concludes the adventure. I hope you enjoyed it and it made your destruction synapses explode. So, I'd love for you to join me for the next video. So it's crash away!